Hello students, welcome to Surface Area Supernode Part 5, the last type of question, oblique prisms. So remember, an oblique prism is basically just a rectangular prism that's been slanted or leaned or pushed over. Okay, so let's try to draw this in SketchUp 8. So let's open a new sketch in SketchUp 8. Let's not open the previous one. So let's open a new sketch and let's save it. File, save as. And I want you to save this one in your student number as surface area 2. Surface area 2. Make sure you save it in your student number. You change this to your second student number. All right, click save. Okay, so let's go to camera, standard views, front. And let's push over to the side a bit and let's zoom in. Okay, now this prism is going to be considerably bigger because if you look at the dimensions, there's quite a bit bigger than the other shapes that we've drawn. All right, let's click on the rectangle tool and let's start near the horizon. Let's click once and don't hold the mouse and drag a rectangle upwards and outwards. I want you to type in 64 cm, comma, space, 30 cm. Okay, I know the 64 doesn't really make a lot of sense right now, but just trust me. Okay, hit enter. So if we look back at the diagram here, it's not 64, we need to make it 46. Okay, all right, so let's zoom in. So this is what I want you to try. We're going to use the pencil tool, and we're going to start in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay, you're going to click once, and then you're going to drag down towards the opposite corner. But I don't want you to click a second time. I want you to type in 46 cm and hit enter. Remember that base is supposed to be 46 centimeters long. Now I need you to find that point. So drag your pencil and you should come to that end point. That's the end point of that pencil line you just drew. Okay? So from this point, I need you to click once and go up to this opposite corner. Okay. Now we're going to do something very similar for the top. I want you to start in this top right corner, click the pencil tool, and start dragging to the left. I want you to type in 64 cm and hit enter. Now continue dragging your pencil along that edge until you get to the end point. Hopefully. Now if you don't see it, maybe I did it wrong. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to activate my pencil from this point and start drawing down. And I'm going to type in 64 cm and hit enter. Now let's see if I can find that end point. Okay, so it doesn't seem to be working. So let's try something else. So let's try clicking from this point and then drawing down the line, and let's type in 18 cm and hit enter. Okay, let's see if I can find the end point. Okay, and looks like it worked this time. Okay, so I'm going to start from this point, the end point, and draw down to this corner. Okay, so let's use the eraser tool and let's get rid of what we don't need. So remember, the whole point about an oblique prism is that the base is a parallelogram. Exactly. Okay, let's draw a line going from the top to the bottom, which represents our height measurement. Okay, actually, let's undo that. We don't need to do that right yet. Okay. All right, so let's orbit around and let's use the push-pull tool. What is the depth of this prism? The depth is 25 centimeters. Okay, so let's use push-pull tool, push to the back, and type in 25 cm. Okay, so you see it's actually not a very thick prism. Actually, maybe it is. Okay, now let's draw in the height. See, if I had kept that height in, when I pushed it back, it's just going to cause a lot of problems. All right, let's label it. Using the text tool, let's type in base, and this time, because the shape is so much bigger, how about I type in 5 centimeters as the height, and that should be perfect. Okay, let's move to the back, and let's draw in the height. Make sure it's blue so that it's perfectly straight, and let's create the 3D text label of base, and then we'll go 5 cm. Okay, and we'll place that right in the center there. Okay, let's go back to the front and let's put in our measurements. So the measurement was 46 centimeters. Okay, so let's create the 3D text tool, 46 cm, and let's use 3 centimeters as the height. 3 centimeters. And let's put that right here near the bottom. Okay, then let's click on the 3D text tool again, and the height of this parallelogram is 30 centimeters. So let's type in 30 centimeters and a height of 3 centimeters. And let's place that right near the height line. Okay, so let's go around to the back and do the same thing. 3D text tool. We have a base of 46 centimeters at a height of 3 centimeters. And let's place it right there. And we have a height of 30 centimeters. 30 centimeters. And it looks like it's remembering my 3 centimeters. Let's just try. I'm not even going to set the height because I see here it's 0.03 meters. And yes, it did remember the height. I mean the height of the letters. Okay. All right. So we have the two bases ready to go. Okay. So now let's go to this side right here. So how far did we push it back? Do you remember? It was 25 centimeters. So let's create that label. 25 cm. It looks like it's remembered my height here. So let's place and let's put that down there. Now what is this length here? Let's look at our 3D diagram. Well, that length is 35 centimeters. So let's create our 3D text tool, 35 centimeters, and place. Let's place it there, and then let's rotate it. Right there. Okay. So this face is exactly the same as this face over here. So let's create the same labels. 25 centimeters was how far we pushed it back. And this edge was 35 centimeters. Let's place it on the back this time. And let's rotate it. Very good. So those two sides are congruent. So let's look at the top now. So the top, if this was 46, then this is also going to be 46. So this label right here will be 46 centimeters. 46 centimeters. Let's place that right there. And then what is this side? Well, if I can peek down on to this face, I see that it's 25. So let's type in 25 centimeters. Let's place it there, and then let's rotate it. There we go. All right, now remember, this face is exactly congruent to the bottom face. So let's put those labels on. So we have 46 centimeters, which is right there. Don't worry if it's upside down, that's fine. And this label here, this measurement is 25 centimeters. 25 centimeters. And let's rotate. Let's go this way. Let's see if I can move it closer to the edge. Yes, I can. Beautiful. Okay, so do I have the measurements on all of the sides? It looks like it. Okay, let's use our coloring tool, our paint tool. Let's find the royal blue. Maybe it's more of a cobalt blue, whatever. Whatever you use to mark the base. And then I'll go to the back. And then I will mark the base again. All right, let's change to black and color in all of the measurement labels. Okay, it's nice if you can see more than one side at a time. That way you don't have to always orbit. Okay, and let's see if I can get both of these sides without having to orbit. Very good. Okay. All right, we're ready to go. So let's create the groups. You know this step. Let's click on the selection arrow tool and let's deselect. Always deselect. Let's click on the two parts of the base, okay? Because it was divided in two when we drew this height line. Hold the shift key. Click on all of the edges surrounding that face. Make sure you're only clicking on part of that group. Don't forget the labels, don't forget the measurements, don't forget the height line. Hopefully you've got everything for that group. Let go of the shift key, right click, and choose make group. Okay, let's go to the side. Make sure you deselect. Click on the face, hold the shift key. Click on the four edges. Click on the measurements. Let go of the shift key, right click, and choose make group. Okay, let's go to the back. The back is tricky, right? There's a lot of things to highlight. So click on the first part of the base, the face, hit shift, and now click on the other side. Click on all of the edges that surround that base. Click on the height line, click on the label and the measurements. Right click and choose make group. All right, let's go to the left side. Deselect. Click on the face. Hold the shift key. Click on the four edges around that rectangle. Click on the measurements. Let go of the shift key. Right click. Make group. Okay, let's go to the top now. Deselect. Click on the top face. Click on the edges that surround that rectangle. Oops. Just have to be precise in what it is that you're clicking. Now make sure along these edges that there are two lines, right? Because it was divided by the height line. So make sure you're selecting all of it. Let go, right click, make group. Okay. Is it time to rotate and to open it up to show the net? I think it is. So let's save it. Let's go File, Save. All right, so let's deselect. Let's click on the front base, use the rotate tool, and let's see if this is going to work. Hopefully I got everything included, and I think I did. Just going a little bit too far. So let me try to edit, undo. Maybe I'm too close. Okay, let me orbit. Let me zoom back a bit. Okay, let's try this again. All right, there we go. So let's go to this face. Let's click on it and rotate. Now what you'll find is because it's the angles are not 90 degrees, you won't have to rotate some sides down very far, and then some sides you will have to rotate farther than you have before. Okay. So don't forget, we've got to click on the top base. Let's deselect, click on the top base, the top face, sorry. Hold the shift key and then click on this group and then let go of the shift key. Don't make a new group. We're just highlighting two separate groups. All right, click on the rotate tool, go across, and let's see if we can bring these two down. Good. Okay. Now the girl might get in the way. If that is the case, then you can click on the girl and hit delete. I'm going to see if I can rotate this with the girl still there. Let's click on the last group. And there we go. It didn't hit the girl. Good. Okay. So now let's have a look at this net from the bottom. Pretty cool looking net. Kind of looks like a plane or something. Okay. All right. So let's go to File, Save. Let's save this. Okay. So we're going to go back to our worksheet, and I would like you to draw that net, paying attention to how many of these rectangles are congruent, if there are any congruent rectangles. So I want you to press pause so that you have time to draw this net, and I'll meet you back here. All right, press pause now. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to draw this really cool net. Okay. All right, so what was always step one for all of these questions? We look at the base. It says right here, think of this as the shape's base. So let's start. Okay. Area of the base equals, well, what shape is this? It's a parallelogram. Do you remember the formula for area of a parallelogram? Sure you do. It's base times height. Okay. What is the base of this parallelogram? Well, let's have a look. It's 46 centimeters. The height is 30 centimeters. Plug it into our formula, substitution line, 46 times 30. So work it out on your calculator. I got 1,380 centimeters squared. Now remember, there are two bases. So we got to multiply that area times 2. So plug that into your calculator. What'd you get? I got 2,760 centimeters squared. Okay? Okay, so let's have a look at the rectangles. Well, I've got here that two of the rectangles are the same at dimensions of 46 by 25. And I've got two other rectangles that are different but the same. Their dimensions are 35 centimeters by 25 centimeters. Okay, so we're going to have two separate rectangle calculations. Area of rectangle 1 equals length times width. Okay, well, rectangle 1, I've called this rectangle 1. It doesn't matter if you call this rectangle 1. The longer side is the length, so the longer side is 46 centimeters, and the width is 25 centimeters. All right, substitution line, 46 times 25 equals, work that out on your calculator. I get 1,150 centimeters squared. Now, how many of those rectangles are there? There are two of those rectangles. So you got to show me in your calculations that you're multiplying by 2. What do we get as a total? 1150 times 2. I got 2,300 centimeters squared. All right, let's go on to rectangle 2. Area of rectangle 2 equals length times width. Let's have a look at rectangle 2. Rectangle 2 is right here. We have 35 and 25. So length equals 35 centimeters. Width equals 25 centimeters. Okay? Area equals 35 times 25 equals. Well, 35 times 25, what'd you get? I got 875 centimeters squared. And of course, there are two of those rectangles, so I'm going to multiply by 2, giving me a total of 1,750 centimeters squared. Okay, so step 4. Total surface area equals all these numbers, 2,760 centimeters squared plus 2,300 centimeters squared plus 1,750 centimeters squared. Takes so long just writing those big numbers down. All right, take a minute to punch those into your calculator. And I got a grand total of 6,810 centimeters squared. Final statement. Therefore, total surface area of this oblique prism is 6,810 centimeters squared. Okay, so this concludes all of the area super notes. Thank goodness you survived. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.